The topic for today's video is sharing, specifically sharing in the context of connection and being connected. And so I want to use an example for anyone who's watched Ted Lasso, a particular scene in the final season where Ted Lasso's mother comes to visit unexpectedly where he is in London. And I'm going to warn everyone, there's going to be language inappropriate for children in this next piece because I'm going to be quoting the show. But in this scene, Ted starts to deal with some of the things that are unsaid between himself and his mother. He's trying to process some challenges in his life, and he realizes that he needs to say some things to his mom. And in the kitchen, he has this series of, "Mom, thank you for X, and fuck you for Y. And thank you for A, and fuck you for B," right? And it's a really intense scene because Ted Lasso is not someone who speaks to his mother that way. So it's kind of shocking and a little bit like it makes you tense up when you watch this. But at the same time, there's this incredible catharsis that happens because Ted is finally sharing with his mother with a clear intention of moving something forward in their relationship and also for himself through sharing what he's been holding on to in this way. Now, this is probably a challenging example to use just because some people misunderstand this thing about sharing as an opportunity to dump on another person, or they will say things that they feel like the other person needs to hear, or they need to say without any real regard for how it's going to be for the other person or what the ultimate outcome is they want to produce. So I'm saying all this as maybe a caution, that I'm not using this example by way of saying, hey, you should just say everything to everyone all the time. I'm not saying that, and I don't believe that works. But what I am saying is, especially in your very important relationships, whether they are personal relationships or work relationships, that sharing, and they could be sharing whatever is authentic for you, including that you love someone, that you miss them, that you're feeling sad about something that has nothing to do with them, etc. Authentic sharing creates powerful connection. Now, does it always do this? No, sometimes people are uncomfortable with authenticity, and the other person in the conversation might pull back because they feel uncomfortable. So I'm not saying that this is something that is like gravity that always works the same way, but I am saying this. When you generate the courage to share yourself with someone, something always moves for you and often moves for both of you or all of you, because authenticity through sharing creates connection. And what I find is that many of us are afraid to say what's actually there for fear of the consequences. And sometimes those consequences are imagined, and sometimes those consequences are real potentials. So I'm not saying that fear isn't justified or valid in many cases. But what I am saying is when you don't say what's really going on for you, when you don't find the courage to be authentic, what you aren't saying creates a disconnection in the relationship. Because we tend to fool ourselves into thinking that we can hide how we really feel or what we really think, but we cannot, because those feelings and those thoughts, those beliefs, those relationships that are really going on for us, they're like an energy field. They are like a presence, and they are sensed consciously and unconsciously by the other person or people. So when they get said out loud, there becomes this alignment between what the other person is experiencing of you and what you are experiencing and what's actually being said. And that alignment creates a connection with the other person or the other people that can then allow for the transmission back and forth of something more powerful, something more potent, something more loving. So sharing is one very powerful tool. I hope that's not too loud. One very powerful tool for love, connection, empathy, the experience of really being known and seen. And it isn't a perfect science. But if you practice it, what I find is that you learn about what are the things that can be said to maximize the opportunity or maximize the chances that your intention to connect gets fulfilled as opposed to the opposite, okay? So even though it may not always go the way you want, it's definitely worth practicing. It's a skill worth learning. So I appreciate you, those of you watching, for giving me the opportunity to actually look at this and share myself with you on this topic. So thank you. I hope this has moved something forward for you in your quest to be connected to yourself, to others, and to the world. Have a great day.